So the sense of feeling trapped psychologically, the way that the brain interacts with that feeling of being trapped, it's not about being stuck. It's about not having what we call momentum. Now, CIA operations are all built around momentum. We believe, because of psychological research, that when the brain believes that it has progressive success, it has more tenacity. It has more grit.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody who's ever been in a firefight, they usually talk about the fact that there's a time when the firefight changes. The momentum shifts. And your goal is to try to get the momentum back, because then there's just a morale lift. And with that lift in morale, there comes a lift in capability, a lift in capacity, a lift in skills. There's all sorts of phenomenal research out there that talks about it. So when people feel stuck, what they're actually feeling is a lack of momentum. So the way that CIA teaches us to fix that is to start pursuing small victories. If you're feeling stuck in your career, you need to pursue small victories. Small victories at work, yes, but also small victories in your relationship with your wife, small victories in your relationship with your kids, small victories in the gym, small victories in your diet, because small victories start to multiply and they start to create momentum, and that momentum starts to physically change the chemistry in your brain, the cortisol, dopamine, adrenaline balances, so that now all of a sudden you have more confidence, you're willing to take more risks, and risks are what you have to take to get more victories, right? So it's this compounding process. It's not a hard process, but it's a process that requires consistency and follow through.
Intentionality.
And that's all it is. So if you feel stuck in your relationship, you feel stuck being single, if you feel stuck because you can't lose those 10 pounds, all you're really feeling is a lack of momentum. And as soon as you can build some kind of momentum, you will find that you'll break out of that stuck position very quickly. Not to mention the fact that as you exercise in any kind of area of improvement, whether it's physical improvement or wealth improvement or mental health improvement, any kind of improvement anywhere, you start to have more chemical triggers that fire in your brain that make you believe the next level is achievable. Whereas when you have no victories, the opposite happens. And the cortisol starts to make you believe that change is impossible.
Outstanding. Yeah, that's a really good answer. I mean, and I couldn't align with that more. I mean, like for me, especially if I'm getting down, like I have a heavy job, you do too. Like, man, I have to okay, let me hit the pause button. I feel myself getting down, getting drugged down. Let me go get some little wins in my life, like fitness. Fitness is, and resiliency. We talk about the 4 pillars of resiliency, and I'll break it down like that now that I'm aware of this. I have to have a mental victory. I have to have a physical victory. I have to have a social, like with my circle of people. Like I have to be in strong relationship. I check on that, and then spiritually, like I have to be, reground myself with my faith and my relationship with God. Like all those things, like I'd have to have those little victories, and it brings a confidence back over me. And I'm like, all right, I'm back. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, it gives you that context again. It gives you that reset. You start to see what you really value. One of my favorite things to do whenever I'm struggling with career, with business, with finances, whenever I feel myself struggling at all, one of the first places I go for a little victory is I go to my wife. And I'll just go to my wife and I'll try to have an interesting conversation. And that's it. It could be about current events. It could be about the kids. It could be about something I'm proud of in my daughter's art, or I'm proud of with my son's reading. It could be anything, right? But what I find is if I take something to my wife, a small relationship victory with the person who's dedicated their life to you is not hard to achieve. If anything, the reason you don't feel a victory with your spouse is because you're on 2 different tracks and you're not communicating the things that you both agree on, because it's automatic. It's automatic. Of course, your wife thinks that you're handsome. You know that you think your wife is beautiful. So you don't ever say that because it's automatic. But if you need a victory, if you need to build some momentum, it's not that hard to go up and be like, hey, I just want you to know that you're beautiful. And that's going to change her entire day. And she's going to look back and she's going to do something. She's going to say something, even if it's a joke like my wife, who would just say, shut up, right? You know that they're acknowledging what you just said. You'll see that smile, you'll see that twinkle in their eye, and all of a sudden there's a victory. And then maybe they'll say something to you that lifts you up. And then you'll be able to talk about what's frustrating you at work. And then all of a sudden you feel release, you feel a vent, you feel connected with your partner. And that might be all it takes for you to be like, oh, I just had an idea that's going to fix my problem.
Yeah.
Right?